There we go. Welcome to week 4 of 6. I don't know where this time is going, of the Make It Club's Make Your Brand Sprint. Today, let's start off with the usual. The washrooms are located in the safety of your own home, perhaps upstairs or just down the hall. This is a safe space. I don't believe in stupid questions. Please ask away. The chat is in the bottom right-hand corner. This workshop is recording. Hello if you're watching on the replay. And again, right now, so we are in week 4. We're going to talk about brand shape. So color, font, shape, and style is where we're landing today. And we're going to start composing our logos. We're going to start putting it all together. Today we are going to talk about brand shapes. So I'm going to explain some concepts around that this week. I'm going to give you as much time as I possibly can to make it a class. And then I want to leave some time so everyone can get some feedback on their work. And again, during the feedback time, if you want feedback on what you just worked on, great. If you want feedback on something you've worked on before in previous classes, also fine. Someone else might have a similar question. So all of that's perfectly okay. Okay. Does anybody have any burning branding questions before I get into this week's? Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about brand shape and logo composition. So we have a goal of shape vibe detected and the first draft of your logo. Super exciting. The 3-step process we're going to follow today is to choose your camp for shape, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about how you assemble your elements together and like what the word element means and what that means. And then we are going to talk about logo composition and the sins, the 7 deadly sins. I'm not going to get to all 7, but I'm going to talk to you about a few deadly logo sins of things you should not do as you're composing your logo. And hopefully that will help you do all of the right things by avoiding some of the wrong ones. Excuse me. Okay. All right. So the first step is to choose your camp. Is it hard lines or is it soft lines? Sorry, I have a big frog in my throat right now. Okay, hopefully that will be better. There is kind of a distinct, there is a distinction between using hard lines in your logo, like squares, rectangles, hexagons, sharp lines, and using soft lines, circles, ovals, waves, that kind of thing. For hard lines, it's serious, professional, corporate-facing businesses. Examples here, Payroll Performance is one of my clients who does payroll. PayPal, pretty corporate, professional. IBM, very corporate, IT. Home Depot, they're a lot about like home improvements that are like very precise. Versus soft lines, client of mine called Bubbles and Balms. Bubbles is literally in the name. They make skincare products for people with eczema and stuff. So it's like they wanted this rounded, calming presence. Coca-Cola is a really like, hey, we want to project this relaxed vibe when you're drinking your drink. Pampers wants to be very like soft for babies, and Burger King is, you know, they want people to have fun and be relaxed when they're eating the burgers. Um, any questions about these two camps? It's very difficult, pretty much impossible to mix these. And I hate for anything to be a binary choice because I don't believe in binary in a lot of ways. But with this, it's about that vibe that you're giving off. So, of the four pieces of branding, color, font, shape, and style, I will say that shape is the most subtle, but still has an impact. Yeah, does anyone have any questions about those two choices? It might be super obvious where you think you want to go, but it's really, again, about how you want people to perceive you. What is the vibe you want to give off? So in your brand guide, what we want to do is choose which camp you are going to be in, and then like physically delete the other one. Because if you are a hardline camp, we're going to stay away from circles. If you're in the soft line camp, we're going to stay away from squares as much as possible. Okay, so then that's the first choice of today, and hopefully you will find this choice easier than the colors and the fonts and all of, there's been a lot of choice around all of that. Hopefully this is more of a straightforward choice for you. So then we're going to start to assemble our elements. So we are going to take our company name, whatever it is, Pampers, Bubbles and Bombs, Payroll Performance, whatever it is, and we're going to put it on the screen in our brand font that we've already chosen. We're going to decide, do we need an icon? Sometimes we might need, you know, if I go back, Payroll Performance has like this supporting icon shape. That, like, this has an icon, this is an icon, this is the Home Depot has like a supporting shape. You know, Bubbles and Bombs has this supporting shape, Pampers has supporting shape. I mean, there's not a big distinction. The icon, like, it becomes an icon if you can use it separately. That's the difference between icon and a supporting shape. You know, like the Nike swoosh is an icon that goes with it, but a supporting shape has, you know, out of context, it makes no sense. So what are we going to be having in our logo? Do we want it to be like, if it's circular, do we want the circle shape to actually be in there? Do we want, yeah, any sort of illustration or anything that will help communicate what it is that we do? Because the name alone might not be enough, but it's up to you to decide. So after we have decided what shape we're doing, we're pulling in the name, we're pulling in icon, we're pulling in the supporting shapes, and then we're literally assembling it in the shape. Is it a square or a rectangle? Is it a circle? Is it triangular? Very rarely, but you know, it could happen. What does it look like? And then we get the fun part is we start to play. So you've got your name in the font you picked. I want you to start off in all black. We're not going to be putting our colors in quite yet. I want you to get to a first draft in black. Once that works, then you can colorize it. Then you can decide where you're going to put your colors. One of the things as we're pulling all these elements together is that we want to size the elements in the order of importance. So you remember last week we talked about font hierarchy, like your headline, subheadline, and regular text, and how the most important text, the headline, was the biggest thing. That hierarchy, the concept of hierarchy by size, also applies to elements. So if you have a name, bubbles and balms, like the word and is probably not as important as the word bubbles and balms. So it could be smaller. So we want to size all of our elements in the order of importance, with the biggest things, the most important things being the biggest. Does that make sense, everyone? I see some nodding. Okay, so I want you to create the first draft of your logo in black. And you might say, why? Solid black is one of the sins of logo design. If it does not work in solid black, you're going to have tons of issues. You're going to have issues with different media. You're going to have issues like if you want to put your logo on a hat or a t-shirt or a bag or any sort of swag. If you have, like, let's say you have overlapping elements, but then like when you put it into all black, it all bleeds together. Like that's not going to work as you try to apply that logo in different circumstances like that. And I mean, overlapping elements reduces readability and accessibility, and has those issues with different media as well. And that's, I guess I skipped over the second one of the other sins, but solid black, overlapping elements, and then element harmony. So we want to make sure that if you choose to bring elements in, such as shapes or icons or what have you, that it is of the same style as the fonts that you've already chosen. And if you bring in multiple elements, I mean, I don't recommend bringing in a whole bunch of stuff, but let's say for some reason you have 2 trees in your logo and you're like, oh, I liked this tree in Canva and I found it and I put it in there, and I liked this other tree. Well, if those trees are not drawn by the same person, or at the very least in the same art style, they're going to conflict because art styles give off vibes. And if you have 2 different vibes there, it might be confusing to people when they look at your logo. So as you pull in the different elements, you want to make sure that everything is harmonious. Just like the color harmony, there's not a rule with element harmony. It's more about the same style. It's a bit more nebulous. Okay. So is all of that clear as mud to everybody? The first step, I want to go back to the 3-step process. Choose your camp, assemble your elements, pull everything in, and then start to compose your logo, being careful of the deadly sins of logo design. And I'm going to leave those up on the screen when I give you your make it time. Bernadette.
So one of the deadly sins you said was black, but then you want us to start in black. So I'm a little confused over. So what's the sin, the solid black there? Yeah.
So the sin of logo design is that it doesn't work in solid black.
Okay.
If you make all of the elements in your logo solid black, and then you look at it and you're like, oh wow, that doesn't work at all. I don't see that. Then you know you're on the wrong path. That we need to pull apart some of the elements. So maybe they're not touching as much, or that, yeah, because if you're using color very specifically for something, we want to make sure that you're going to have problems down the road, because if you want to put your logo on a receipt that only prints in black and white, the logo's not going to work.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So it's the actual loader, yeah, the solid black. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if it doesn't work in solid black, thank you for that clarification. I'm going to adjust my slide. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So it is time for you to make it. Yeah, Tina.
Sorry, so those were 3 of the sins. Is it worth it to overwhelm us with all 9 and just throw it all up? No? Okay. All right.
No. There is a book called Logo Design Theory, How Branding.
Thank you for just keeping us the 3.
Blah, 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 by Schulman. And he talks about all, like, I have some additional reading that I will put in the chat about all of these. And he has, the guy who wrote this book talks about a lot more, but yeah, it would probably be overwhelming for me to be like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And like, I don't know if these situations would apply. Yeah. I cherry picked them because I know these are common mistakes.
And I love you for it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave the presentation on this slide. And I'm going to stop the recording. So thanks again for watching on the replay.